Happy New Year, Pisces. Let's have a look at your astrology and tarot for 2023. So starting with the astrology, and I look at the outer planets because we're looking at the whole year. So the outer planets are the slow-moving planets. So Jupiter's sitting in your second sector at the moment. It went into your second sector in the middle of December last year, and it's going to be there until the 17th of May. When it moves into your third sector. So Jupiter in your second sector, that's a really good time for finances. It's a really good time for your security, as in building up on your security. If you're looking at purchasing property, this would be a fantastic time to do so. Jupiter there, it will definitely go in your favour. And it's also a time when you find there's a bit of financial flow happening for you. So Jupiter in the second can also bring opportunities to be making more money, as well as opportunities to gain more in your assets. Once it moves into your third sector, Jupiter is going to be favourable for communications, for connecting up with siblings, brothers, sisters, and also soul connections. So, there could be a lot discussed around that time. There could be some fortunate situations happening around family members. And also, could be productive plans that you have going on together too, with either soul family or family members. But again, if you work within communications, this is going to be a great time to gain successes through communicational skills. Saturn is sitting in your 12th sector. Now that's the sector, sort of the hidden and the unconscious space. And it's been sitting there for quite a while for Pisces. So, that's where you may have been not quite so serious about responsibility, where you're sort of like, do I really want all this work or this hard work? Or, it's not a time when I'm not saying you don't want to work, but I'm just saying it's not a time when you want to, put too much pressure on yourself. It's a time when you've just been going, I'm just relaxing at the moment, but you sort of know that things are going to get a lot busier and harder for you. Well, not harder, but, there'll be a lot to dedicate yourself to and be responsible for in the future. And you've been right, because Saturn is moving into your first house by the 8th of March, and when it does that, then that's the time to take on more responsibilities, to get your head, stuck in. You're going to feel, like doing the hard work during that time, and it'll be less play and more work, but there'll be something you'll be dedicating yourself to. So I think you'll be quite happy with that. So it's sort of travelled through your 12th. I think you've been sort of appreciating a bit of leisure, but now you're going to be, getting more serious about what you're wanting to apply yourself to. Also means in your first house, you're going to be shown as in the first sector is how you present yourself to the world, and it's your immediate environment. So with that, can mean that you could be seen as more serious. You could have more of a leadership role during that time. And when I say more serious, it's like I said, it's all work and not a lot of play. But I do feel like you're getting ready for that, and you're actually looking forward to that time, and you're going to be really busy. Uranus is in your third sector, so that's been there for quite a while now, actually, for a few years, and it's been sort of making things a bit restless around situations, around family, around siblings, around soul connections. So it's like they can come in quite suddenly, or quite, you could make these soul connections quite randomly during that time with it in the third. Neptune's been sitting in your first placement. So, Pisces don't seem to mind this too much, being ruled by Neptune. But, again, it's, you've got Saturn coming in there to give you a bit of balance. So when I was talking about having that sort of relaxed, leisure time, or just time to just meditate, time to just connect in and feeling more spiritually connected, that has been Neptune sitting in the first, as well as Saturn in the 12th. When Saturn comes in, it's going to give you a bit of a better balance as they sort of build to join each other, which is going to take quite a while, actually. This is going to bring you more into, wanting to really work in more humanitarian areas where you're wanting to help others, as Saturn and Neptune come together in your first sector. So it's like the combination of the aspect of the healer, also can, mean that sometimes we feel like we're, not quite able to achieve where we want to be at a financial level, but you've got so much favourable stuff financially that I wouldn't worry about it, especially with Jupiter it's sitting in the second for the first half of this year. Pluto, the whole thing, sorry, if I just go back to explaining that a bit more, it's sort of finances aren't important with Saturn Neptune. What's important is helping humanity. That's how Saturn Neptune is viewed. It's like the Hanged Man in the tarot. It's about having the right values and what's really important. So that's not a problem for you at that time. And as long as you can, that's how you will be seen. You'll be seen as someone who's extremely helpful in helping others to get ahead as well. So the node's sitting in your third sector as well. So we have like Uranus with node, and then Jupiter will be going into that. And so, there's sort of going to be a lot of positive situations or fated situations, but that's going to come in more through friendships, soul connections, and family members again. So the Jupiter conjuncts the node in the third. It's also going to be very positive for any Pisces that are really good with communication or use communication for their career, writers, speakers, or anyone who is teaching or explaining things to others. So, with that, it's like, there's going to be some, like I said, good connections made. It's going to be like forward moving, like successes is what I'm trying to say, around those areas, through communication and writing. So what we have going on for May, it's quite an important time with May, because we've got the Jupiter node square Pluto, and this again is where I'm talking about fated connections, and Pluto sitting in your 11th sector. Now with the 11th, you'd have had Pluto in the 11th sector for quite a while, so for some Pisces, it's probably been quite a transformational time for your friendships and your connections. And when Pluto goes through a whole sector or a sign, it transforms that area that it relates to. And because it's in your placement of friendship and communities, it's transforming your maybe your attitudes or opinions or how you see your friendships, what's been important to you with regards to friendships from the start of it. Like Pluto's been in Capricorn I can't remember how many years now, but quite a few years now. And you might find that, there's been a lot of friendships clearing, but then more new friendships coming in that have been much strongly established for you as we're coming to the end of this Pluto and Capricorn phase. And also, so what will be transformed as you come out of that is like, what you want from your friendships, how you see your friendships. You may decide you don't want quite as many friends as you had before the Pluto entered into that, quite a few years ago. And now it's like, I just want my very important, close, select friends. And this is a very strong year for fated connections, karmic fated connections, bringing in changes for our future, for everybody this year with this Pluto node Jupiter, and it's going to be very fortunate. So, depending on how that's placed and how everyone's, how we're affected. So for you with Pluto there, Jupiter's in your third and the nodes in the third, I feel like, what's going to be really important to you is family and soul connection. And if you don't feel you are in alignment with them, just feel you're not going to feel that that connected, or that you can't be bothered, or that, it's like you could even be quite wary actually of connections and friendships until Pluto moves into your 12th, because of what you would have been through during the beginning of the Pluto into Capricorn. So May, again, is a time when all this stuff is going to be really evident with regards to the fortunate connections, helping you to move forward, especially when you've got these ideas and when you're needing to communicate them really clearly. Mars is squaring Jupiter for the whole month of May, which is a very productive space. Mars is our desires and our energy, and where we apply our energy, and Jupiter's expansion and growth. So it's productive energy moving forward. It relates to enterprise, business moving forward, and career. So, you know, or productive activities on all levels. So for Pisces, Mars is in your fifth sector and Jupiter's in your second sector. So this is for the first half of May, because what happens is Mars and Jupiter, you know, they're making this aspect. It doesn't normally last this long, but they're making this aspect because they're traveling so closely together. And they even change signs around the same time. Mars and Cancer, you know, for the first half, and then it goes into Leo for the second half, and Jupiter in Aries for the first half, and it goes into Taurus for the second half. So for the first half of May, you have it in your fifth and your second. So this is going to be positive for, you know, creating more money through your creative ideas and through getting out there, you know, into the when I say getting out there, sort of, you know, rather than being withdrawn into, you know, your own sort of personal spaces, is about getting out into the environment and sharing and expressing who you truly are. So, you know, sort of the fifth house can relate to sales people or people that have got, you know, quite strong creative desires to create their own thing. Also relates to your children. So it can also mean, you know, very productive situations for any family members as well. So as when I say family members, I mean children. So that's really nice with the fifth and the second being activated with this really strong productive energy, because the second is your finances. So it's going to really move you forward financially, and again in a creative way. But it is again about what you can create through your own skills and use of energy. And then in the second half of May, with the Mars square Jupiter, Mars moves into the sixth sector and Jupiter moves into the third. So with that third and sixth dynamic, you've got, again, good communicational skills going on here, you know, utilising, you know, your close connections as well. So utilising your communicational skills, but also being helped by your close connections or your brothers and sisters. And with Mars here, it's moving into your sixth house. So it's going to be a very busy month for work for May. But the whole of May is going to be sort of shown to be very productive. It's a time when you can move forward. In fact, you've probably got a lot more forward-moving things going on before May. If we're going to have a look at the tarot and see, you know, we can verify that. You know, by May, it's like a lot of really good connections are going to be very obvious to you. And so when I'm saying May for this, you know, Pluto, know these soul connections. So soul connections doesn't just come in a day. It's something that's sort of happening slowly. And so it's starting in March, where it's like fated situations. Any situations where people have been trying to be too forceful or too controlling in your life, you know, that's going to really shift. You're going to have a lot more control in your life, and especially around those areas, around situations around family, around situations around your creativity and around your finances. So let's have a look at the tarot and see what 2023 looks like for Pisces. So Pisces is ruled by Neptune, and like I said, Neptune's in your first sector, so you know it has been a time of really connecting into your more sensitive psychic side. Pisces is quite a naturally psychic sign. Pisces is also esoterically ruled by Pluto, interestingly enough, because the esoteric rulerships aren't the obvious rulerships. They're the more soul, what's connected to your soul. So at a soul level, Pisces is ruled by Pluto. And Pluto is a very powerful energy, and it also can be quite a controlling energy. And so if you think, you know, like some Pisces, you know, they're not interested in controlling other people, but they don't like things not in their control. And if you wonder where that comes from, that's actually at an esoteric, a very, very subtle level. So yeah, it's sort of more of a deeper, subtle level that's embedded in their nature without it being an obvious thing. Because, you know, the Neptunian energy makes them very soft and, you know, but, you know, deep down Pisces are, you know, they are really wanting, you know, they don't like it if they think something's going to happen that they don't have that control of, and so they do tend to spend a lot of time worrying about the things they can't control. Anyway, that will be a momentarily thing. And it's at least part of a lesson for Pisces, as much as Neptune is part of a lesson. Okay, so that's the universe wants Pisces to know. Look. Looks like for Pisces, coming out of a cycle, an old cycle into a new cycle. So there's some changes going on here for Pisces at a subtle level. So Pisces, looks like you've got some good assistance and help here coming from others. Now this is sitting around you now. It may have already happened. It's sort of sitting in your recent past, or it may be something that's yet to come up for January. But it looks like it's, you know, you're getting assistance. It's like there's something you're wanting to achieve or a direction you're wanting to go in, and it's someone's giving you the leg up, because it's like without that, it feels like you can't make it happen. And like they say, you know, it's not what you know, it's who you know. And you know, this is a situation where, you know, someone is really helping you out. There's a lot sort of being presented or offered to Pisces for this year, by the look of it. So again, really good connections around you. Very good news coming in for Pisces. Something you've been wanting to do. It might be about connecting up with somebody else and getting them to join in and be agreeable and moving forward with projects and moving forward with particular things. But it seems to be about working with teams as well. So agreeable teams. And so I think this is you know, where we come into the third house and even that 11th house situation with Pluto. So Pluto's doing its good stuff now because it's at the end of that house sector, you know, with it being at the end of Capricorn. And so now it's going to bring in the stuff that's going to give you that power back and help you relative to working again with teams and working in a situation, you know, where it's really agreeable. So I've got this team around you, but I feel like there's a person like you and one other that you're needing to communicate with, to be agreeable about, and then the answer is yes. So, you know, it's like you have a discussion with somebody, they're going to go, yes, let's do this, and then it's like you have this team. So this is awesome. This is exciting. There's also some travel opportunities here for Pisces. It looks like it's a bit of, you know, like the travel looks more, it might be still plane trip, but it sort of looks more local than like big overseas trips. But you know, there's definitely a lot of driving, a lot of getting out and about, and having to connect up and meet with people. So there's fast movement also coming in for Pisces, for them to move forward into new directions. And I feel like too for Pisces, this is going to be a year where you're going to feel like you can take more control in your life, especially with being the leader, being the leader of your own situation. So it doesn't mean you have to lead a whole lot of people, even though I do see teams around you. It's more that, yeah, you just need to be, you're wanting to be in charge. And so, you know, this may not be immediate, but it's going to lead you to that. You're going to be able to see that, yes, you can really get to where you want to be. And the reason you're wanting to be in charge, so to speak, is to utilize your ideas, your mind. So, you know, it's not about having that, you know, like in a Leo way, or needing that, you know, authority, because Pisces is not an authoritative sign, but it's like the leaders, the Pisceans that are natural leaders, will be stepping up, I feel, over this year. Not immediately, but they'll see the opportunities coming in for that. Also, good news for Pisces, any Pisceans wanting to loan money, or there's good news about money or money coming in. There could also be increases in finances or pay increase, or if they're in business, you know, it's like things are going to start to increase financially at quite a good level. This is going to be a passionate year where Pisces are going to be able to move forward with their ideas and utilize their variety of skills and ideas. There's a lot going on there in the Pisces brain, and it's like being able to format it and utilize it in a very practical way this year. So take your time, Pisces, with this. Well, when I say take your time, it's like sometimes we can feel a bit scattered if we have too much going on in our minds. Gemini has this problem too, and but it's like, well, because it's like, when I say scattered, it's like, and this is more of a Pisces and a Gemini thing, but it's like, there's this idea, could do this, then there's this idea that contradicts that. So it's like they don't see that they could do this and that, and all these different things, and they've sort of scattered them instead of bringing them together and going, I can do all of that into the one thing. And you will be able to do a lot of different ideas into the one, through being patient, through taking your time, and just through your strong focus and passion for this particular subject that you're going to be putting all your energy into, by the look of it, for this year, because it's a very strong year for the hard work, like I was saying, and it doesn't look like Saturn's doing any sort of making you feel like you're hard done by. It looks more like Saturn is actually grounding you and allowing you to utilize a lot of these brilliant ideas. So, Pisces have big hearts, and I feel like with these projects that they have going on, they're again really just wanting to work in a way that's going to help humanity. Of course, you want to get ahead and you want to financially be successful, and that's there. I mean, I don't see a problem with abundance at all, but I feel like that's not your motivation. The motivation here is shown by the Hanged Man, and that's where what's important is the goal, the direction, feeling like you have a sense of purpose, and feeling like you are of assistance here on this planet. Now, Pisces, some Pisces may be looking at changing their environment. There could be a fated reason to either travel, and this is now talking about overseas, but more so maybe some work for overseas for some Pisceans. Now, you've got the High Priestess here, which is the spiritual woman that's very clear with your intuition, and that is a natural quality for Pisces. Like I said, it doesn't mean that we're always clear with it, but this is it's just a very sort of fated time for you to be able to work within your intuition. So for those that have been developing their intuition more, learning to, really that's just learning to trust it, listening to it, not ignoring it, not discrediting it, and having a little bit of faith in the way the universe works. You've got great opportunities coming here that are just so fated to be there in your life, that they're going to open you up to new things. They're going to open you up to experiencing new places, new people, and a whole new area that's within your mind, exploring like new areas within your career that you didn't think you would be able to, or you hadn't considered. We'll say you hadn't thought. I can't say you didn't think you'd do it, because you haven't thought about it at all. Put it that way. So it's just like it naturally comes to Pisces, and you'll just intuitively know if it's right for you. So when it comes to making a big decision, you just got to trust your intuition and stay strong in your ground, so to speak. Stay grounded. So yes, it's a time when you'll be also using your communicational skills, and but putting your head down and getting stuck into a certain area of work that is going to be quite time consuming, but you're extremely passionate about. Some Pisces could be looking at moving property, because there seems to be a lot around property changes, and some Pisces could just be looking at renovations. But for those Pisces, you'll be just waiting financially until the money's available to do that. So this is when I'd normally ask if you have any questions, but of course I can't ask you guys if you have any questions. I would love to be able to do that. Maybe one day when I get a bigger following and I can do some lives. I'm just going to lay out a few more, because I feel like there's something more I want to tell Pisces. So let's have a quick look and see what else. Again, excellent news. This sort of, you've got the two victory cards that are in the pack, and one's sitting on top of the other. So, there is some really exciting news coming up in the very near future. But this year is going to be all about work, and it is all about moving forward, what you have already established for yourself is going to go to another level. And, you do like to be stimulated. You do like to have variety in what you do. And this is where I'm saying all these different ideas. It's like you're going to be able to incorporate different ideas at different times. But working with your intuition is going to be, a huge part of assisting you. And again, I'm getting, Pisces being in their own thing, their own leadership role. Again, really good news for Pisces. For some area that you've been wanting to work out, or some area you're wanting to achieve, and it's like it's been a bit testing. It's like, because Pisces can doubt themselves, and it's about having that confidence. I feel like it's an area that you've sort of been trying to work at, and you've had the confidence to keep pushing for something. And then it's like when it comes in, it's like, yay, but then it's like, oh, scary. But, you sort of had that confidence. So it's sort of saying this has been testing on your confidence, and you've been showing that you're confident because you've been pushing it. You've been wanting this to happen. So there's something here that you should know what I'm talking about with that, because it's like something you've been pushing for. Wow. So again, fantastic year for career, but also for making awesome connections to really amazing people. So any Pisces that, we like really awesome connections here, especially friendships. But any Pisces that are looking for a relationship, this is a time when you're going to bring in very solid connections, and at a personal level. And these are, again, fated. Spirit's here saying, I'm responsible for bringing them in, or, making them happen. So some of these connections haven't happened yet. So yeah, you've got a very strong time, like I said, new relationships, but anyone that's in existing relationships, it looks like you've got really important friendships coming up. So for Pisces, you have been hiding away a little bit in the past, but you've been doing a lot of learning and understanding. You've gained so much knowledge while you've been doing what you've been doing over the last few years, saying this is a year where you start to come out more into the public eye and really into your power, into your personal power. So again, I've got business situations really positive for Pisces, or leadership roles. It's really starting to gain the rewards for all your hard work that you've invested in for a long period of time. Some things you may have felt like this was never going to happen, but it's like it's going to happen because there's been an aspect to you that go, is it ever going to happen? And another aspect to you that just goes, let's make it happen. And you start to create it again. So you've been sort of, like we all do. We can't be positive all the time, but it's like you've got a breakthrough with that. Okay. And you're shifting your energy to a higher level. As in connecting into a higher vibration. So what I'm meaning by that is that you're going to have new experiences with your psyche and with your spirituality, with your sensitivity, I should say, where you're going to feel a bit stronger in it, because Pisces can sometimes be too sensitive, and they, sometimes that's why they do need to keep away and hide away from others sometimes, because, too much energy can just be overwhelming for them. But it's like you're going to be lifting your energy where you are the one. You're not going to feel so controlled or pushed around energetically. You are the one impressing very strong energy upon others. As in other words, if you go into a room, you could be shifting or lifting up others' energies, and I just feel like that's something to do with where Saturn's being placed and where Neptune's being placed, where you're able to sort of shift or change. Like say it's a mood and you walk into a room and you can feel that, you're able to just shift and change that. Now a lot of people have that quality, but I feel like we're talking about a higher Neptune quality here. So it's all going to depend on each person and where Neptune's placed for that. And because Pisces is ruled by Neptune, it just looks like that's sort of more directly affecting you this year, where energies are going to be shifting. We're going through energy shifts anyway, astrologically, energetically. And, this is going to be a great year for you to really get what you deserve. And I feel, from what I'm seeing here, it's really looking good. It looks like you can step into a whole new space where you do feel like you have so much more control, that you're being listened to and heard, and that you are being valued for what you have to offer. So Pisces, I hope you enjoyed that and you have a great year ahead. It looks like it's a very powerful year ahead for you. It looks like it's a year where you're going to really set yourself up with some great connections and friendships, as well as really stepping into more the desired outcome or the desired situations for your career. So have a great day. Bye.